Hello all, this is John from EastCoastArmory.com, and this is a project update video for this 1/6 scale scratch built German Tiger 1. Since the last video, progress has been made on the tank's interior engine compartment, including the cooling fan clusters, as well as some more engine bay detail components. To start with the engine bay, detailing has been added to the rear firewall. Over here, this is the engine access slot. On the real Tiger 1, this slot here, or this plate here, would be able to move to the left, which would open up these ports here so that you could actually get view into the engine to see if everything's okay. Some basic wiring has been added. In addition to the fire extinguishing system and the oiling system, we also have here the tank's drain plug. On the real Tiger 1, there would be a cable that would run through the bulkhead here into the firewall, into the crew compartment, and by turning a lever, you would be able to open up this plug here, which would then drain any sitting or standing drain water or rainwater inside the engine bay. It would be able to drain it out. Adjacent to the drainage plug is the tank's Snorkel duct. This air duct here has a goosenecking pipe, which is all fabricated out of PVC. And this pipe here is for the tank's snorkel assembly. Soon to be added is going to be a larger pipe that this gets inserted to, and then that larger pipe gets mounted to this plate here. From this plate, then a series of telescoping pipes will be added, and this would be the tank's snorkel. This Tiger 1, or most Tiger 1s, were originally designed to have deep water wading capability. However, this feature was dropped on later production units. I always did like this feature, and I tend to build it into most of, or pretty much all of my 1/6 scale Tiger 1s. In addition to the snorkel tube, we have the tank's exhaust cooling system here mounted. This here is pretty much a duct. It's all fabricated out of styrene. And on the Tiger 1, the exhaust manifold will plug into here, which would then go out of the exhaust stacks. Now, the Germans figured that the exhausts were going to get very, very hot, so they designed a cooling system just for the exhaust. The way this would work is that you have this hollow air duct here, and over here there are two elbows that are going to come out and go into the fan compartment here. The way it would work is that the fans would will blow out the cool air, or blow out the hot air, thus cooling the exhaust. A pipe is going to be added right here, and it's going to come out, and that pipe is going to go right below this position here. Once the tank progresses, you're going to see a cap get mounted to this position here. That cap is for that elbow. That now leads us to the tank's cooling system. For this tank's cooling system, I decided to fabricate the entire radiator and cooling fan cluster. This entire set here is a resin upgrade kit, and it is offered by EastCoastArmory.com. For cooling the engine on the Tiger 1 used a somewhat elaborate system that you see here. To cool the Tiger 1's engine, Tiger 1 utilized two very large radiators that were cooled via two fans here. The fans on this kit are actually full function. They are electrically driven and have full detailing on them. These also come with the kit. The kit pretty much gives you everything you need to assemble what you see here, including not only the fans and all of the rest of the components with addition to the fasteners, but you also get all of the plumbing and hose clamps that you see here that would then mount into the piece that you see here, just like so. To paint these units here, on the Tiger 1, the radiators were black or sometimes gray, and the cooling housing itself was left in its aluminum color that we have here. Now the fans, on the kit, the fans are electrically driven. However, on the real Tiger 1, that wasn't really the case. On the Tiger 1, the fans were powered via an output shaft that was on the engine itself. And that would connect via a gearbox that would hook up to this plate over here. As we can see here, that the units are pretty much symmetrical, so that one fan housing casting is viable for both sides. Now, the way the gearbox would connect into the fan housing is that it would bolt to the engine compartment here, or bolt on the inside, and the output shaft would run through the compartment into the housing. It would bolt to these smaller holes that you see over here, and if you could look close, you will see a small oval and another small hole here. These are actually oil gullets. The transmission would flow cooling oil inside the gearbox housing and then directly into the fan gearbox itself, thus cooling off the gears and keeping everything nice and lubricated. This would pump through the system through the gearbox as well. Now, since mine is electrically driven, we have wiring outside, and these fans here are 12 volt, and they will just turn if you hit the switch. This set here is pretty much designed for anyone that wants to give a nice little detail kick to their engine deck. The Tiger 1 fans are visible through the tank's rear grille work over here, and in addition to being a nice detail element, if you're working on a tank that's radio control, either from Armortech or any other manufacturers, the fans can be beneficial in help pumping cool air into the vehicle, thus cooling off the electronics. To cool the engine, that would be the job of the radiators. Now, the Tiger had a very complex way of moving the hot water out of the engine through the two radiators. The hot water would first come out of the engine and would go into this unit here. It would go in from the top, then it would be pumped through the bottom. The bottom would then go to the top of this radiator, and then the water would then go from this plumbing tube here back into the engine, and then it would cycle again. As what is illustrated here in this excerpt from the Tiger Farba. In addition to cooling down the air from the exhaust, we could see two smaller holes on either side of the fan housing. These holes would connect to a flange that would then connect into that would lead into the interior of the engine compartment. While in the open position, these could blow hot air that would be radiating inside the engine compartment out of the vehicle as well. So really, these fans do lots. This cluster here does a lot of activities besides just cooling down the engine. Finally, we have here a small little recess in the front portion here of the housing. This is how it would connect to the tank's rear wall here. There would be a small bracket that would have two pins in it, and it would just lock into that bracket. The bracket looks similar to the turret lift hook from an M10 tank destroyer, which is what I have here. This here would be welded to the tank's hull, and two pins would be emerging from either side here and here. Now, the reason for this elaborate geometry is that the original plan for the Tiger 1 was to have a hydraulic lift that would elevate the rear engine grille in the back. When the Tiger was first being conceived, the engineers didn't quite think that there would be enough cooling via the grill work. So they designed the grills to open up at a flick of the switch via hydraulic actuator. Similar to what's seen on some Porsche 911 Carreras. But fortunately, the tank was able to be cooled adequately from the closed system, and so the hydraulic system was never used. However, the brackets still stayed in place far into the production run. Are not too loud and are sucking air in. And there we have it. Now both or all four motors can be hooked up to one switch. With the throw of one switch, all fans will be running simultaneously. And that concludes this video update for this 1/6 scale scratch build German Tiger 1. Stay tuned for more progress and more detailed components. And don't forget to check out eastcoastarmory.com. Thank you.